There's a little bit of drama involving the sweatshops that make Ivanka Trump's products. Now, her clothing line has been in the middle of a lot of controversial headlines. However, there was an audit of the factory that manufactures her clothing line, and apparently they are breaking a bunch of laws and violating some of the rights of the workers. Now, inspectors with the Fair Labor Association found dozens of violations of international labor standards during an audit of a factory in China owned by G-III Apparel Group, which owns the rights to manufacture and distribute Ivanka's fashion line. G-III was also recently busted for rebranding Ivanka's clothing line and dumping it on the discount retailer Steinmart. Now, first of all, this story is relevant for a lot of different reasons, but mostly because of the fact that she continues to be portrayed in the media as this woman who's looking out for workers' rights, for women's rights. You know, she wants you to buy American. How about you make your product in America if you care so much about people buying American, right? She has her factories in China where her clothing is manufactured, and she doesn't even care about those workers. She doesn't care about their rights. She doesn't care about, creating an environment where they can have healthy, happy families. She doesn't care about any of that. The Chinese knitting factory has poor conditions and pay, with workers putting in up to 60 hours a week for wages of about $62 weekly. The factory violated 24 standards set by the UN International Labor Organization when it was inspected this fall by the Fair Labor Association. Inspectors spent about 2 days touring the facility in October, ultimately determining that workers experienced high turnover, pay at or below China's minimum wage, and excessive work hours. They were also not receiving legally mandated pension, medical, or housing benefits, and received only 5 days of paid leave per year, with some exceptions. Now look, there are a lot of American companies that use these factories in China that are problematic. There were various stories about Apple doing this, a lot of criticism, and that's totally justified. But here's the thing. You don't see anyone at Apple, getting into politics and talking about how they're so great in protecting women's rights and workers' rights. Ivanka Trump does not care about you, does not care about women, and is certainly not some progressive who's in the administration now trying to, reel Trump in and make sure he does the right thing. She's not even doing the right thing herself.
So I want to give you context on the pay for a second, because we just said it kind of quickly. So I want to remind you of what the math that Jimmy Dore broke down on the show yesterday, on the Young Turks extended show. Bill O'Reilly made, in his last contract, $25 million a year. He got $25 million as a severance package too, which must be nice. Remember when you got fired and got $25 million? Anyway, he made $100,000 a day. $100,000 a day. These workers make $62, not per hour, not per day, per week. Okay, they work a whole week, they get $62. Okay, now I know it's apples and oranges. I'm just giving you context for how poorly they're paid. Now, I can't believe American workers are paid that poorly, because Anna, you said Chinese, but it must be American, right? Because I know the Trump family is all about America first. They're going to bring jobs here. They're not going to let people outsource the jobs to China. I know Donald Trump said it a million times during the campaign. He's still saying it when he's president. And Ivanka is one of his top advisors. So she can't possibly be making her products in China, Anna, could she?
Except she is, right?
Huh, that's weird. It turns out the Trump family still making products in China and outsourcing all the jobs because they get to have people work the whole year, almost no leave at all, under brutal conditions, 60 hours a week, and at the end they get $62 a week. And then the Trump family goes, hey, I'm smart, you're the suckers, right? I make them work for next to nothing. I make sure you Americans don't have jobs. I'd have to pay you more. I don't want to pay you more. No, that whole thing about Americans having jobs, it was a gimmick, you suckers. If you're going to bring the jobs back, as Trump said 2 million times during the campaign, why don't you start with your own jobs? If Ivanka Trump has all those jobs for making her products in China, let's start with you first, okay? Just like I say to the suicide bombers, okay? When somebody sends you a suicide belt, you go, hey, that's an interesting idea, but you first, okay? Hey, Trump family, you wanna make sure that Americans get jobs and bring jobs back? Great, you first.
Yeah, look, this isn't a gotcha story or we told you so story. This is just information so people make a smarter decision moving forward, because a lot of people knew that they were a scam. A lot of people knew that they were lying, but they just refused. Some people just refused to believe the actual facts that were right in front of everyone, right? So now we know, now we have hardcore evidence that she doesn't care about the workers. She doesn't care if you're a woman or a man. She doesn't care about your family. She doesn't care about ensuring that people that are employed under her, umbrella are getting paid for leave so they can take care of their families, right? She doesn't care about any of that. So just don't get fooled, okay? Fool me once, shame on me. You. Fool me twice, yeah, I can't get fooled again. Anyway.
I love that old Bush quote.
Yeah.
Okay, you know that Young Turks audience has been more job creators in America than Ivanka Trump? Mm-hmm. So far through tytnetwork.com/go, that's our fundraising drive to hire more journalists. We've hired 11 people.
Right.
And guess where they are? In America. So Ivanka, what's up? Right? You got all your jobs in China, we got all our jobs here in America. Turns out if you want a real job creators, you turn to progressives. We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazil story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. tytnetwork.com/join.